Shortened summary of Reality Transurfing Steps 1 to 5. In Reality Transurfing Steps 1 to 5, best-selling author Vadim Zeland redefines reality, arguing that we live in a world of consciousness in which infinite versions of reality simultaneously exist, and what you identify as reality is just one version of it. The way you think and feel about your experiences determines which one of the infinite versions of reality exists for you. Therefore, consciously choosing the way you think and feel allows you to control which version of reality you live in. This guide discusses Zeland's ideas in two parts. In the first part, we'll explain his thoughts on how different versions of reality take physical form, why you tend to remain in a single version of reality, and why you might find it difficult to switch to a more desired version of reality. In the second part, we'll explore Zeland's methods for controlling which version of reality you live in. Additionally, we'll expand upon each of his key points with research, advice, and actionable ideas from other authors and self-improvement practitioners. Part 1. Your version of reality reflects your emotional energy. Zeland argues that what you think of as your reality is just one version of reality among many. According to him, we live in a world of consciousness in which infinite alternative realities simultaneously exist. These realities fall into two categories. 1. Physical, materialized realities that you can perceive with your five senses. 2. Invisible, unmaterialized realities that lie dormant, waiting to take physical form. Short form note: Zeland's background as a quantum mechanics physicist sheds light on why he argues that infinite realities exist. Many quantum physicists theorize that we live in a multiverse in which there's a universe we can perceive and multiple others that we can't perceive. The many worlds theory of the 1950s proposed an infinite multiverse, like Zeland describes here. More recently, string theory physicists predicted there are 10,500, that's a 1 followed by 500 zeros, different universes, an enormous number, but not infinite. Stephen Hawking also predicted there are a finite number of universes. However, while quantum theory supports the concept of a multiverse, physicists haven't, yet, found a way to scientifically prove its existence. In this part of the guide, we'll clarify why some realities materialize while others lie dormant. We'll first explain how versions of reality take physical form. Then we'll explore why you tend to remain in the same version of reality and find it difficult to switch to a different, more desired version of reality. Principle number 1. Invisible realities require emotional energy to materialize. What separates the physical, materialized reality that you can sense from the invisible, unmaterialized realities you can't sense? According to Zeland, it's emotional energy. He explains that every conscious being transmits emotional energy through their thoughts and feelings, and this energy contributes to the physical materialization of reality. This is a process with three distinct parts. Part number 1. You transmit emotional energy. Zeland claims that each time you think or feel, you transmit emotional energy into the world of consciousness in which infinite versions of reality exist. The emotional energy you transmit has a specific frequency that reflects the emotional content of your thoughts and feelings. For example, if you think about something that makes you feel anxious, you transmit anxious emotional energy into the world of consciousness. Part number 2. Your emotional energy feeds the reality matching your energy's frequency. In the world of consciousness, each version of reality has a unique frequency. According to Zeland, a version of reality can materialize into physical form for you when your emotional energy matches and feeds into its unique frequency. For example, a version of reality exists that includes the very thing that you're feeling anxious about. The more anxious energy you transmit, the more likely this reality is to become real for you. Short form note: the law of attraction, LOA, also claims that your reality matches your emotional energy. LOA philosophy is centered around the belief that you get what you focus on. Positive emotions lead to positive experiences, and negative emotions lead to negative experiences. However, unlike Zeland, proponents of the LOA don't argue that your emotional energy feeds one of multiple realities, causing a specific reality to materialize. Instead, they argue that your emotional energy sends a signal to a single universe, delivering experiences that match your emotional energy. Part number 3. Your experiences reflect your emotional energy. What you identify as your reality is simply a reflection of your emotional energy. According to Zeland, every individual transmits emotional energy into the world of consciousness, causing different versions of reality to materialize. The physical world we live in reflects all of these different materialized realities. However, while you might be aware of these materialized realities, you can only experience the version of reality that matches the emotional energy you personally transmit. For example, you work at a job you hate, live paycheck to paycheck, and often worry about your finances. Even though you're aware that there are billionaires in the world living luxurious lifestyles, you don't get to experience what it's like to be wealthy, because your reality only reflects your worries about money. Your experiences reflect where and why you direct your energy. Why is it that you can be aware of other realities but not experience them? According to Deepak Chopra, the 7 spiritual laws of success, it's because your motivations don't align with these other realities. Similar to Zeland, Chopra argues that all your experiences reflect your thoughts and feelings. He explains that your entire reality springs from an invisible, spiritual world of consciousness. This invisible realm pulses with thought energy, the energy of the trillions of thoughts that ever existed and are yet to exist. The same thought energy that permeates everything in the universe also flows through you. Each time you think or feel, you shape the nature of the thought energy that surrounds you and flows through you, thereby contributing to the creation of your reality. Further, Chopra clarifies that the motivations underlying your thoughts and emotions create your reality, explaining why you can be aware of and think about other realities without getting to experience them. Your motivations can be broken down into 2 parts. 1. Where you're directing your thought energy. What you give your attention to directs your thought energy to specific areas of your life. For example, you think about money, causing thought energy to flow to your finances. 2. Where you're directing your thought energy. Your reasons for thinking about something define the content of your thought energy and create life experiences that reflect those reasons. For example, you're thinking about money because you're worried about being poor. This fear shapes the content of your thought energy and creates life experiences that reflect and reinforce your financial insecurities. Therefore, Chopra argues that you can transform your experiences by paying attention to what you think and why you think about it. For example, you're more likely to experience wealth if you change your motivation for thinking about money from fear of poverty to enthusiasm about being rich. Principle number 2. Reacting to your reality reinforces your version of reality. Since your version of reality simply reflects your emotional energy, why aren't you jumping between different realities every time your thoughts and feelings, and therefore your frequency, change? Zeland explains that you tend to remain in a single version of reality for 2 reasons. 1. You habitually transmit the same frequency. 2. Realities require consistent emotional energy to materialize. Let's explore each of these 2 reasons in more detail. Reason number 1. You habitually transmit the same frequency. Zeland explains that although the content of your thoughts and feelings often fluctuates, you're still predominantly thinking about and reacting emotionally to what happens in your version of reality, thereby producing energy at the same frequency as your reality. This means that you're continually feeding your version of reality, which is why it continues to materialize. For example, you don't have enough money and feel bad every time you see something you can't afford. As a result, you transmit emotional energy that matches, and therefore sustains, your poor version of reality. Short form note: 1 reason you predominantly focus on your version of reality is that your thoughts and your state of mind reinforce one another to create an internal feedback loop. In this loop, your thoughts determine your state of mind. Thinking about money makes you feel bad. Furthermore, your state of mind determines your thoughts. You feel bad, so you think about how unfair it is that you don't have more money. However, research reveals that conscious reflection, whether through journaling or mindfulness practices, helps you develop the awareness to distancing yourself from this feedback loop. This makes it easier for you to consciously redirect your thoughts and emotions to your ideal version of reality. Reason number 2. Realities require consistent emotional energy to materialize. According to Zeland, even if your emotional energy occasionally matches the frequency of a different reality, that reality won't instantly materialize for you. This is because realities require a consistent stream of emotional energy to fuel the materialization process. Short form note: exactly how much emotional energy does it take for a different reality to materialize? According to Abraham Hicks, it takes 17 seconds to kickstart the materialization process and 68 seconds to bring your desire into physical reality. Abraham explains that focusing on a singular thought for 17 seconds builds momentum around the materialization of that thought. It does this by inspiring thoughts and emotions that help you maintain a singular frequency. Once you maintain this singular frequency for a total of 68 seconds, Abraham clarifies that you achieve that by holding 4 thoughts for 17 seconds, one after the other. The reality that matches this frequency will instantly materialize. Principle number 3. You can inadvertently sustain a reality you don't want. Now that you understand how your emotional energy feeds a specific version of reality, let's explore another side to this energy exchange that Zeland warns about. When you're not conscious of the frequency you're transmitting, you can inadvertently sustain a reality that you don't want. This can become a problem because, as Zeland explains, the more emotional energy a version of reality accumulates, the stronger and more self-sustaining it becomes. It sustains its physical form by creating circumstances that cause you to emit its specific frequency. That way, it can siphon your energy. And in turn, the more you react to this version of reality's circumstances, the more emotional energy you feed it, thus maintaining and further strengthening this reality's physical form. For example, a poor version of reality creates circumstances such as job loss, emergency medical expenses, and rising insurance rates to keep you focused on your lack of wealth. Controlling where you focus your attention preserves your energy. You might find it easier to understand how your version of reality steals your emotional energy by considering how often you react to your circumstances or give in to distractions. Each time you do this, you cede control over your attention and energy to your environment. For example, you want to focus your attention on a creative task, but your phone's ringing. Reacting to your phone results in an unnecessarily long conversation. This distraction steals your energy and prevents you from focusing on the creative task. According to Neil Pasricha, the happiness equation, ceding control of your attention to your environment doesn't make you feel happier or help you move toward what you want. This is because your environment encourages you to spend time on tasks and decisions that waste your time, deplete your energy, and gnaw away at your ability to focus on what you want to achieve. He suggests that you can take control of your attention and preserve your energy by focusing only on things that increase your happiness or help you achieve your goals. This involves eliminating the trivial tasks and decisions that currently waste your energy. Achieve this by automating regular tasks, removing unnecessary decisions, and limiting distractions. Self-sustaining realities cause you to lose touch with what you want. According to Zeland, when your reality pulls you into its frequency, you waste energy reacting to your circumstances. This leaves you with insufficient energy to become aware of and focus on your unique needs. In other words, you unconsciously focus on sustaining the reality you already live in instead of focusing on the version of reality you want to live in. Determining your values helps you focus on what you want. Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk, offers additional insights as to why you might waste your energy on what's happening in your reality rather than on what you want to experience. He argues that the degree to which you live in alignment with your values determines your ability to focus on your desired life experiences. According to Shetty, your unique needs, or what you need to be happy, can be summed up by your values, the core beliefs that you choose to live by. They determine who you want to be and how you treat yourself and others. However, the need for external validation causes you to adopt values that make other people happy. Shetty explains that, as a child, you learn to adapt your behaviors according to what others expected from you. When you conformed to their expectations, they validated and reinforced your behavior by rewarding you, and this made you feel happy. On the other hand, when you went against their expectations, they invalidated and discouraged your behavior by punishing you, and this made you feel unhappy. From these experiences, you unconsciously concluded that your happiness depends on pleasing others. This conclusion leads you to accumulate other people's values and pursue things that you think will make you happy, without considering if these values align with your own. The downside to this is that your preoccupation with pleasing others distracts you from thinking about how you feel, what your unique needs are, and what makes you happy. As a result, instead of focusing your energy on what you want to experience, you allow others' expectations to direct your energy, which, according to Zeland, is why you waste energy perpetuating realities that don't reflect what you want. Part 2. Control which version of reality you live in. We've just discussed how you're continually transmitting emotional energy at a frequency that sustains your version of reality. We'll now explore Zeland's advice for controlling which version of reality you live in. We'll cover his advice in 2 steps. Step number 1. Reclaim your emotional energy. Step number 2. Redirect your emotional energy. Step number 1. Reclaim your emotional energy. The first step toward changing your version of reality is to reclaim your emotional energy. This involves withdrawing your attention from unwanted aspects of your current reality so that you have more energy to direct toward your ideal version of reality. According to Zeland, the only reason you might want to change your version of reality is that you're facing circumstances that you don't want to experience. You believe that a different version of reality won't include these unwanted things. However, he explains, all unwanted circumstances result from a reality's attempts to siphon your emotional energy by creating problems and concerns that justify strong emotional reactions to them. As previously discussed, each time you direct your attention to such circumstances, you waste your emotional energy sustaining these unwanted parts of reality. For example, you don't want to feel frustrated with your children. However, your version of reality keeps creating unwanted circumstances that justify your perpetual frustration with them. For instance, your children repeatedly lie to you or don't do their homework, so that it can siphon your emotional energy and remain in physical form. On the other hand, when you intentionally ignore unwanted circumstances, you starve them of sustenance, weaken their influence over you, and reclaim the emotional energy that they've been siphoning from you. For example, each time your children don't do their homework, you choose not to give in to frustration. This starves these unwanted circumstances of the emotional energy they need to manifest in your reality. Short form note: many self-help practitioners mirror Zeland's claim that ignoring unwanted circumstances helps you reclaim and redirect energy toward creating what you want. For example, Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. Like Zeland, all of these authors imply that unwanted circumstances don't benefit you. However, some psychologists suggest that unwanted experiences can actually help you approach life more positively. This is because, without engaging in what you don't want, you wouldn't be able to distinguish among your experiences, recognize what satisfies you, and consciously move toward what you do want. How can you intentionally ignore unwanted circumstances? Zeland claims that observing your thoughts and emotions helps you weaken unwanted circumstances and reclaim your emotional energy in 2 ways. First, it helps you understand why you're experiencing your version of reality instead of the version of reality that you want. Second, it breaks the feedback loop that perpetuates your current version of reality. Let's further explore the 2 benefits of observing your thoughts and emotions. Benefit number 1. Observing yourself helps you understand your reality. According to Zeland, the first benefit of observing your thoughts and emotions is that it helps you understand why you're experiencing your version of reality. It does this by revealing how participating in your version of reality creates a feedback loop that perpetuates this reality. For example, 1. An experience occurs in your version of reality that draws your attention. For example, you receive a job rejection. 2. Because you're thinking about what's happening, you transmit emotional energy that matches this specific experience. You think about how unfair life is and feel like a failure. 3. This emotional energy is reflected back to you in the form of similar experiences. Since self-pity dominates your frequency, your version of reality creates more self-pitying experiences. For example, you lose your keys and receive additional job rejections. 4. You then think about these similar experiences, and so on. How unconscious biases reinforce feedback loops. Psychological research expands upon how feedback loops perpetuate similar experiences by explaining that your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are influenced and reinforced by cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are the result of your brain's attempt to make quick judgments based on your past experiences, and they shape the way you think about, perceive, and react to everything that happens. There are many different types of cognitive biases, and each of them influences your perception in different ways. 2 common cognitive biases are 1. Confirmation bias, the tendency to pay more attention to information that confirms and reinforces your opinion, and 2. Negativity bias, the tendency to notice and dwell on the negative aspects of your experiences. The example in the 4-step process above demonstrates how both of these biases reinforce how you think and feel, causing you to continually transmit emotional energy that creates unfair experiences. Your confirmation bias influences you to only notice and interpret experiences that reinforce your feelings of self-pity. Likewise, your negativity bias keeps you focused on what you dislike or fear about your experiences. As a result, both biases keep you mired in feelings of failure, which, according to Zeland, ensures that you'll continue to experience, participate in, and perpetuate circumstances that make you feel like a failure. Benefit number 2. Observing yourself breaks the feedback loop. Zeland argues that the second benefit of observing your thoughts and emotions is that it helps you remain emotionally detached from unwanted circumstances. This breaks the feedback loop that perpetuates this reality and makes you less susceptible to wasting your energy on what you don't want. For example, 1. You receive a job rejection. 2. You remain detached, simply observing your thoughts and feelings about the rejection. 3. Because you don't get emotionally involved in the rejection, you preserve your energy and prevent your emotional energy from perpetuating similar experiences. Short form note, according to Grant Cardone, the IOX rule, observing yourself offers another advantage. It encourages you to take responsibility for all your circumstances and empowers you to view unwanted experiences as opportunities for growth. As a result, you proactively seek ways to amend your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to prevent unwanted experiences from reoccurring, which frees up energy to focus on getting what you want. On the other hand, remaining unaware of how you create your circumstances encourages a victim mentality. Instead of taking responsibility for unwanted experiences, you waste energy blaming others, feel powerless to move forward, and stay focused on what you don't want. Step number 2. Redirect your emotional energy. Once you've practiced reclaiming your emotional energy from unwanted circumstances, practice the second step toward changing your version of reality. Redirect your emotional energy to feed your ideal version of reality. Zeland argues that since your version of reality simply reflects your emotional energy, you can control which version of reality gets reflected back to you by matching your emotional energy with that reality. He suggests 3 methods for redirecting your emotional energy to achieve this. 1. Identify what you want. 2. Practice living in your ideal version of reality. 3. Transmit only positive emotional energy. Let's explore each of these 3 methods in detail. Method number 1. Identify what you want. The first method for redirecting your emotional energy involves identifying what you want to experience. This will help you create a clear vision of your ideal version of reality. Zeland offers advice for identifying what you want to experience. Focus only on what brings you joy or inspires you. Don't allow other people's opinions to influence you or make you worry about how plausible your desires are. Short form note, like Zeland, Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, argues that you shouldn't worry about how plausible your desires are. Instead, just expect everything to work out in your favor. Wattles suggests that imagining your desired end result and practicing gratitude in advance of achieving it provide 2 benefits. First, it sends a clear message to the universe. Second, it keeps you from becoming dissatisfied with your current life experiences. This is because when you imagine feeling grateful for something you don't yet have, you feel positive regardless of what's actually happening. The more positive you feel, the more likely you are to transmit positive emotional energy and adopt behaviors that move you closer to what you want. Zeland explains that when you focus only on experiences that bring you joy, you transmit a purely joyful frequency, untainted by negative emotions. For example, you want to be an entrepreneur because you feel inspired to work on your business idea. Even though you're not sure exactly how or when you'll achieve your goal, you feel satisfied each time you make progress. As a result, you consistently transmit emotional energy that aligns with the frequency of what you want, thus feeding your ideal version of reality. On the other hand, when you allow other people to influence you or worry about how you'll achieve what you want, you pollute your frequency with contradictory emotions. These feed the very circumstances that you don't want. For example, you want to be a wealthy entrepreneur only because it will make you appear successful and impress others. However, this goal doesn't inspire you intrinsically. Working toward it feels laborious and dissatisfying. As a result, you consistently transmit mixed emotional energy that feeds versions of reality that you don't want. Intrinsic motivation helps you maintain a positive state of mind and achieve success. Many psychologists and self-improvement authors mirror Zeland's argument that focusing on what brings you joy is key to maintaining a positive attitude and achieving success. Some notable proponents of this theory include Jay Shetty, Think Like a Monk, Neil Pasricha, The Happiness Equation, Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics, and Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. One idea underlies this argument, that all behavior is driven by the need to fulfill one of two motivation types, intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. You accept your needs and feel comfortable expressing them by engaging in activities that make you happy. For example, you want to be an entrepreneur because you enjoy your work and aren't worried about how others judge you. Because doing this work fulfills your inner needs, you find it easy to maintain a positive attitude and achieve success, which helps you continually transmit positive emotional energy. Extrinsic motivation comes from your environment. You ignore your needs in favor of seeking acceptance from others by engaging in activities that encourage external rewards. For example, you want to be an entrepreneur because you think it will garner admiration and positive feedback. However, because doing this work doesn't fulfill your inner needs, you struggle to maintain focus or make progress on what you've set out to do, and find it difficult to maintain a positive attitude, which prevents you from transmitting positive emotional energy. Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus, the authors of Minimalism, expand on the topic with additional advice to help you assess your motivations and identify what intrinsically motivates you. They claim that there are 4 obstructions holding you back from recognizing and pursuing intrinsically motivated goals: identity, status, certainty, and money. For example, you may focus on career aspirations that drain your energy rather than pursuing work that aligns with your interests because your financial security and sense of identity are tied up with your career status. Become aware of how these obstructions influence you, and distinguish between the goals and activities that satisfy you, intrinsically motivated, and the ones that don't, extrinsically motivated, by tracking all of the activities you take part in over the next few weeks. Next, reflect on each activity by asking yourself the following questions. Is this something I want to do, or am I fulfilling external expectations? Do I enjoy this? If so, what's the most enjoyable aspect of it? Does this make me feel energized or drained? Motivated or unmotivated? How can I create opportunities to engage more in the activities that I enjoy? Method number 2. Practice living in your ideal version of reality. Once you've identified what you want, practice Zeland's second method for redirecting your emotional energy. Live in your ideal version of reality. As previously discussed, your reality is simply a reflection of your emotional frequency. This means that the only way to experience the version of reality that you want is to consistently transmit a frequency that matches what you want. Zeland explains that the most effective way to attune your frequency to what you want is to imagine how you would think, feel, and behave if you were already living in your ideal version of reality. Consider the type of person you'd have to become and how your lifestyle would need to change to fit in with this ideal version of reality. Then practice thinking, feeling, and behaving like this vision of yourself now. For example, in your ideal version of reality, your body is sleek and toned. You imagine that you feel proud of your appearance and have adopted specific habits that energize you and help you maintain your figure. Therefore, you choose to focus on feeling proud of your appearance and adopting those specific habits now. Visualizing your ideal life. Like Zeland, Maxwell Maltz, Psychocybernetics, argues that the more you imagine or practice thinking, feeling, and behaving as if you already have what you want, the more likely your desires are to come true. However, while Zeland claims that this method works by aligning your emotional energy with what you want to experience, Maltz claims that this method works by aligning your self-image with what you want to experience. Maltz explains that your subconscious mind, the part of your brain that dominates the majority of your unconscious thoughts and emotions, learns from your habitual, conscious thoughts and feelings to create your self-image. Your subconscious mind then influences you to think and behave in ways that reflect this self-image, and it actively discourages you from thinking or behaving in ways that are inconsistent with your self-image. Maltz goes so far as to say that your subconscious mind sabotages your conscious attempts to change your habitual thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. For example, if you habitually think that you're out of shape and need to exercise more, you've trained your subconscious mind to include being unfit as part of your self-image. As a result, your subconscious mind influences you to automatically think and act in ways that keep you from exercising. It might influence you to think thoughts that make you feel powerless to adopt a healthier lifestyle, or it might encourage you to remain sedentary. Additionally, it may sabotage any attempt you make to become fitter, for example, influencing you to procrastinate about joining a gym. For this reason, Maltz argues that you can't change your experiences unless you consciously change your self-image and retrain your subconscious mind. He suggests that you can achieve this by regularly visualizing yourself behaving in ways that align with what you want and who you want to be. This is because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It can only react, by creating changes in your self-image, to what you imagine to be true. According to Maltz, visualizing what you want is the most effective way to overcome the self-sabotaging influence of the parts of your self-image that prevent you from living your ideal life. As such, this practice will train your subconscious mind to become more comfortable with the feeling of who you want to be, which will help you practice living your ideal life, as Zeland suggests. Method number 3. Transmit unconditional positive emotional energy. The more you practice living in your ideal version of reality, the more your emotional energy will feed the materialization of what you want. Zeland claims that his third method, transmitting unconditional positive emotional energy, will accelerate this materialization process and help smooth your transition into your ideal version of reality. Zeland explains that you're always choosing how you interpret all of your experiences. When you choose to interpret something as positive, you transmit positive emotional energy that feeds a positive version of reality. On the other hand, when you choose to interpret something as negative, you transmit negative emotional energy that feeds a negative version of reality. Therefore, choosing to interpret all your experiences as positive ensures that only positive versions of reality can get reflected back to you. He suggests that you can train yourself to continually transmit positive emotional energy by focusing only on what you want to experience and appreciating all of the good things in your life. Train yourself to transmit unconditional positive energy. Like Zeland, Pasricha, the happiness equation, argues that you can always choose to feel positive, regardless of what's happening in your life. According to him, there's no such thing as a negative experience, it's only your thoughts about your experiences that make you interpret them that way. He claims that you can train yourself to continually feel positive, which will ensure you continually transmit positive emotional energy, by practicing 6 methods. Get active. Exercising for 30 minutes 3 times a week increases your ability to feel positive and reduces symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression. Do good deeds. Deliberately performing spontaneous acts of kindness makes you feel good about yourself. An added benefit is that others show more appreciation to you, too. Switch off. Taking time off from your to-do lists and distractions allows your brain to rest and recharge, giving you more energy to maintain a positive focus. Engage fully. Being fully engaged in your tasks and activities deters distractions because your brain is occupied with accessing all of your knowledge and skills. This makes you feel more positive and also increases your productivity. Practice meditation. Adopting a daily mindfulness ritual, such as meditation, builds your self-awareness, encourages feelings of compassion toward yourself and others, and decreases feelings of stress and anxiety. Be thankful. Taking time to write about experiences you're thankful for keeps you focused on what you like about your life and how lucky you are.